Hey guys, what's up? This is Kyle Kammer here again from GoPro, and I'm going to give you a quick little tutorial on how we get that super smooth slow-mo that you see in all of our footage. Now, the way we do that is we use a program called Twixtor. Now, I know a lot of you are probably familiar with it or have heard about it before, but don't really understand what it does or why we use that to make slow motion versus just slowing down the footage just within whatever program that you're using. Well, the reason why we use Twixtor is it is a frame interpolation program. So what that means is when you slow down footage, like if I were just to slow down this footage in Final Cut right here, it would be like super choppy. So like here's an example. So today I went out, or tonight actually, I went out and shot my friend Matt Chase here in Minnesota at Highland Ski Area. A big shout out to those guys for letting me come out there and do this real quick. But I shot Matt, and he was throwing down some pretty gnarly tricks, and took us along for the ride for it. So, but I'll give you a quick example. So I got these two clips right here. So this is the first clip. It's coming along. Phew. So smooth. This kid's got so much talent. Yeah. So there's that clip, and then I put a drop cam down for his run, and you can see gives another angle on that jump. Now this is the shot that I want to slow down right here. This shot right here to put that nice little Twixtor super slow motion on. But watch what happens to this clip. I'll play it again for you. Watch what happens to it if I just slow it down within Final Cut. So I can just right click on here. I go to change speed. Now, we'll get frame blending off. I am going to, let's say I'm just going to slow it down 10%. Hit OK. And so what happens now is, watch. Look at that. You see that choppy motion right there? That's because when you try to slow footage down past 100%, what it does is just it stretches each frame out longer. So it doesn't really slow down the footage, it just holds on each frame that much longer. And that's what gives you this whole chop effect. And that is no bueno. I'm just going to undo that and show you this regular clip here again. And so what Twixtor does, when you tell it you're wanting to slow down footage, it looks at the frame before and the frame after, and it magically comes up with this thing, this algorithm, where it creates an average of those two frames and takes that average and creates a new frame. So the best way to kind of describe that is if I had like a number sequence, like 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay? What Twixtor does is it takes the 3 and it takes the 5 and adds those two together, which equals 8. And then it divides it by 2, and that gives you 4. And it creates that frame, it creates that 4 and places it in between the 3 and the 5. So instead of 3, 5, 7, 9, now you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does that kind of make sense? So what it does is it'll look at this frame and this frame and then create a frame that's halfway in between there and actually physically make a frame and put it in there. So let me just show you how it works. So you got this clip. I'm just going to double click on it right here, and I'm going to go to Effects, Filters, Revision, Twixtor Effects plugin. Now within Twixtor, there are a couple different settings that I always use. Whether it's the right or wrong setting, who knows, but it's the settings I use and it works. So, and my whole theory is if it looks good, it is good. So if you think it looks good, it is good. So what the settings I do is for image prep right here, I click on edge contrast, or contrast edge enhance. And then for frame interpolation mode, interp mode is what it says, I go to motion weighted. I have no idea what that means, but that's what I do. And then I click Smart Blend. Now sometimes Smart Blend does a weird little thing to it. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. So you just kind of got to play around with these settings depending on what your clip looks like. Now the key to Twixtoring footage is having a super clean background. So you know with this shot right here, I have it so when he's going through the air, it's just nothing but sky behind him. That's it. It's nothing, it's just him against a black sky. So what that'll do, because what Twixtor does is if there was like a light or like a light pole or like the chairlifts in the background, it has a hard time creating that frame with all that extra information. So the cleaner the background that you can give Twixtor, the better it will look and the smoother it will look. And so with that, a lot of our Twixtor shots that you'll notice are the skier or a snowboarder and blue sky in the background, or a dirt bike doing a big whip with nothing but blue sky in the background, because it's really hard to Twixtor something against a background that has a lot of different textures, because Twixtor just kind of freaks out and you get like this weird jello-y kind of morphine thing that goes on. But so the best way when you're setting up a shot that you know you want to Twixtor, the best way to do is find the angle that'll give you the cleanest background and set it up for that. Now here, where I set this camera, I should have set it closer, but where where this ski hill had just been opened up for 2 days, and it was a zoo. There's like 300 kids out there, and this is the safest place I can put the camera because kids were hitting this jump left and right, and so that's where I just put this camera right here. But it'll do the job, and it'll show you exactly how the effect will work, and it works pretty well. So what you want to do now, generally I would be editing to music, but there's no music on this timeline, so I'm not editing to music. So when you are watching this, just play your own music, see if it'll work. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start this Twixtor moment. I'm going to have the jump starting, and then I want it to slow down. Let's pick a frame here. We'll go frame by frame to what looks the coolest. Boom. I think that's a good area to start doing it. So what I do is with Twixtor, it's all about keyframing. And now what I'll do is, you see this on speed right here? I'll click this button here, and that'll set a keyframe. And the speed is at 100% right now. So that's telling me everything from this keyframe to the left is at 100%. Now I'll go forward a frame. I'll hit this keyframe again, and it put another keyframe in there. Here, let me do this. Let me zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about. You see that right there? From that frame to that frame, it put another keyframe in there. So now what I'm going to do is I want to take that and that keyframe, and I'm going to slow this down to 2%. Okay? And now I want to go somewhere in my clip where I want him to come out of the super slow-mo that's going on. So I'll just come forward a little bit. Right about there, that looks good. And I'll hit another keyframe. So by putting this keyframe right here, that's saying that everything between this keyframe here and this keyframe here, I want to be at 2% speed. And then I'm going to go forward a frame or two. Let's go forward 2 frames. I'm going to put another keyframe in there, and then I'm going to go to 200%. To 200% just so I can whip out of the his trick fast and just creates kind of effect. So that's nice with Twixtor too, because you also can speed up the motion. So now I'll render this guy out. Shouldn't take too long. We'll let this render out, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Alright, and we're almost about done here with our render. And let's take a look at this footage and see how it looks. Boom. Look at that, super slow motion. Sick. Let's just look at that again. Now, notice how smooth that is? Like, boom. Shoo. Awesome. And now I'm going to show you the footage fully exported. Boom. Looks so good. He makes it look so effortless too. Hate him. Look at that. Pow. And that's it, guys. That's how we do our Twixtor in a nutshell. There are a lot more advanced features of Twixtor. You can work with masking and stuff like that. But honestly, like, I really never touch that stuff. I just, with Twixtor, I like to keep it the simpler the better. But yeah, I mean, you can tell right there, it just did not take me that long to produce that effect. And just as long as Twixtor is done the right way, you can really get some amazing effects out with it. So get out there, go shoot some shots against a clean background, and Twixtor the daylights out of your footage. Twixtor for days. I could put this at like 0.0005%, and this thing would Twixtor for like an hour. It'd just be like this super slow motion, like, but that'd be boring. Alright, guys, thanks again. And like I said, I did this video because someone asked me, how do we do it? So if you have any other questions on how we do what we do, let me know and I'll make a video for it. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys and really try to give you guys the same tools and show you exactly what we do so you can go out and produce the same kind of radical content that we're putting out. So, and hopefully you put out better content. That's the whole goal. So go out there, get rad, and stoke out your edits with Twixtor. Woo! Goodbye.